The time is 8 p.m. Central. All regular amateur traffic, please stand by. Grab a drink, grab a snack, find a comfortable spot because you're now listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. Heard Thursday night here on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club frequencies and the University Link repeater system. We will not have any scheduled pauses for emergency traffic, but we will yield the air to any break-in emergency. With that in mind, please leave room between check-ins and transmissions to allow for any emergency traffic. The 147.320 repeater, big thanks to Chris, KV5TX for getting that guy back up online. We still have having some hiccups here and there with the 775, the 441775 sometimes been dropped, but we're working on that and hopefully won't drop during the net. You can also reach us via Echolink by connecting to N5OAK-R or K5D-R. For All-Star access, use node 51444 or 409er33. For more information regarding the club's repeater system, and how to become a member, please visit n5oak.org. You can also participate in this net using the University Link repeater system. Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. For the University Link repeater system, set your tone to 97.4. For club members, we also have our own very Thursday night net channel on Discord. So swing by and say hi to folks hanging out there during the net. If you're not a member, what are you waiting for? We don't charge any fees. We do accept donations, but the club does not charge fees to join in, so just hop in, go to n5oak.org and join the club. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'll be your net controller for this evening. This is a control net. Station should refrain from transmitting until designated check-ins or coming times. If you are a new ham or just new to the net, the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net is a social net. We get together every week to share knowledge, ask questions, and hang out. It's very easy to check into this net. In just a bit, I'll ask for check-ins and take down a list of all stations who wish to participate. Once we have everyone checked in, I'll go down the list one at a time and give you the floor. Feel free to ask questions pertaining to ham radio, tell us about something you've been working on, or just say hi. We just want to hear from you. If you miss the first round of check-ins, don't worry. We'll grab you on the next round. Please avoid topics of politics, religions, or anything else potentially inflammatory. Keep it clean, nice, and appropriate. It's time for station identification and the opening of the net for check-ins. Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. It is time for short time check-ins. Short time check-ins means operator who cannot stay for the entire net. I will not take general comments for the short timers. If you check in as a short timer and later want to rejoin the net because the conversation is so juicy, please feel free to recheck. So if you're can't visit tonight but still want to check in, come in with your call sign and name. This is
Kilo 5 Tango, Mike Tango, no traffic.
This is Alpha Golf 5 Sierra Juliet, no traffic.
This is Kilo India 6, Hotel Quebec Tango, Cannon, South Austin, no traffic.
There's one person there at the end tried to make the repeater, but didn't quite make it. You want to try again? I'm just getting a carrier on that one, but nothing is coming in. You might want to try either crank up the power or change the location a little bit. I'm going to go to the top of the list here with the short time check-ins, and we have K5TMT with no traffic. Thanks for checking in. AG5SJ with no traffic. Thanks again for checking in. And K56HKT Ken with no.
Correction? That was Kilo India 6, Hotel Quebec Tango, KI6HQT.
I think I got KI6HQT, is that correct?
Yes it is, thank you.
Alright, do you have any traffic for us, or was this no traffic?
No traffic, sorry.
Alright, no problem. Thank you for checking in. Appreciate it. Anybody else wants to check in as a short timer? Please come in with your name and call sign.
This is N5AFC, no traffic.
I have N5SA, I believe, with no traffic. Thanks for checking in. Anybody else wants to call in for short time check-in? All right. Nothing hurt. And before we get to regular check-ins, we're going to review questions or two from the FCC current general exam. If you have a technician license, this will give you a sample of what the test is about. If you already passed your general exam, it's always a good thing to review the material. So let's pass the mic now to Mark, NE5V, for tonight's question. Mark, the mic is yours.
So I'll go ahead with the first question. When selecting an SSB transmitting frequency, what minimum separation should be used to minimize interference to stations on adjacent frequencies? I'll go ahead and repeat that. When selecting an SSB transmitting frequency, what minimum separation should be used to minimize interference to stations on adjacent frequencies? The choices are A, 5 to 50 hertz, B, 150 to 500 hertz, C, approximately 3 kilohertz, and finally D, approximately 6 kilohertz. Go ahead and respond with your call sign and answer at this time.
Is this open for technicians or everybody?
We'll start with technicians first, and if there's no takers, we can open it up to everybody.
W0TCO.
Go ahead.
I was only half paying attention, but I thought I would jump in here. I think it's
Hertz.
yeah, let's go with that one. W0TCO.
Okay, got it. Any other responses? Okay, I'll take that as a no. So actually the correct answer is C, Charlie. Approximately 3 kilohertz. 3 kilohertz separation on SSB to minimize interference to stations on adjacent frequencies. You were close, but 3 kilohertz is the answer. Okay, we'll go ahead with the second question. This question is, what factors affect the MUF, or maximum usable frequency? Again, repeating. And location. B, time of day and season. C, solar radiation and ionospheric disturbances. And D, all these choices are correct. Go ahead with your responses now. It sounds like we may not have any technicians here, or they don't, maybe a little bit mic shy tonight, so if anybody wants to answer that, go ahead right now with your answer with your call sign and letter choice.
W0TCO.
Go ahead, sir.
I'll go with Delta on this one. Alpha really stood out to me, but I think all of them affect the usable frequencies. So I'm going to go with Delta, W0TCO.
Hey, great. Thanks for the response. Any other takers?
BBS.
Go ahead, Rusty.
Well, I was going to go with Delta, but I don't want to be like Andrew, so I'll go with Bravo. Put me down for Bravo. We'll see how that does.
Got you down for Bravo, and anyone else?
Cat 5 UKF.
Go ahead.
I'll go with Delta just to disagree with Rusty.
Sounds like a good option there. Thank you very much for your input. Inside AFC. This is November Echo 5 Papa, back to net control.
Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for doing the questions tonight. Always fun. Talking about the general questions and exams, Jim, K5KTF from the Austin Amateur Radio Club, is putting together the in-person testing starting on September the 3rd at 10 a.m. in case you want to either upgrade your license, or if you know anyone who's studying to get their license and is looking for a place. So now we have a place again. This is on Wells Branch at their MUD office. That's on 14611 Wells Fort Drive, Austin, Texas. And walk-ins are welcome, but there's always a risk that the session could be full. So it'll be easier, I guess, if you want to email ahead of time to make sure that reserve your spot, basically. If you want to, feel free to shoot me an email, and I could pass that information over to Jim. I'm going to be helping out that day, and my email address is my call sign, Kilo India 5 Papa Zulu November @gmail.com, and I will get you in touch with the guys. That's going to be happening every other month. Let this reset. So the first one is going to be in September the 3rd, and the second one is going to be on November the 5th, and the third one to aim for any of those. Let me do a station ID real quick. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, callsign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you are just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. We're going to pass now the mic to Garrett, KG5KVJ, for tonight's news. Garrett, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Ernesto. Well, good evening. As Ernesto just said, my name is Garrett, KG5KVJ, here with your ham radio news. Our first bit of news comes from QSC Magazine, an article by Steve Ewald, Whiskey Victor 1 X-Ray. The 2022 Simulated Emergency Test. Practice your emergency readiness on October 1st through 2nd. The basis and purpose of the amateur radio service, according to Part 97 of the Electronic Code of Federal Regulations, ECFR, is recognition and enhancement of the value of the amateur service to the public as a voluntary, non-commercial communication service, particularly with respect to providing emergency communications. With this in mind, the annual nationwide ARRL Simulated Emergency Test, SET, scheduled for October 1st and October 2nd, 2022, invites you and the radio amateurs in your ARRL section to learn how to properly check equipment and practice operating skills during a simulated emergency exercise. ARRL Field Organization, Amateur Radio Emergency Services, ARES, National Traffic System, NTS, and Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service, RACES, leaders and participants, along with traffic message handlers, are among many radio amateurs and organizations who are active in public service and emergency communication. The SET is an opportunity to fine-tune emergency preparations and put ongoing practice to the test under simulated emergency conditions. The ARRL has formal relationships with several national organizations, including the American Red Cross, the National Weather Service, NWS, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and the Salvation Army, with whom ARES members and other radio amateurs work closely when emergencies occur. This year, we are offering bonus points for cooperation with Army Mars stations and for sharing information between Mars and amateur radio stations. Visit arrl.org/served-agencies-and-partners for more information. National Preparedness Month is recognized each September to encourage everyone to be ready for emergencies and disasters. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, partners with several organizations to help promote the importance of year-round preparedness. This fall's ARRL SET is a demonstration of amateur radio's commitment to serve the public. More information on National Preparedness Month can be found at www.ready.gov. Contact your local ARRL emergency coordinator or net manager to learn how you can get involved. The ARRL section web pages present section contact information at www.arrl.org/groups/sections. The next bit of ham radio news comes from spaceweather.com. NOAA forecasters say that strong G3 class geomagnetic storms are possible on August 18th through 19th, when a series of coronal mass ejections, CMEs, is expected to graze the Earth's magnetic field. During such storms, naked eye auroras can descend into the USA as far south as Illinois and Oregon, geomagnetic latitude above 50 degrees. Satellites and power grids will not be affected, however. An extreme storm would be required for that. And our last bit of news comes in the spirit of Maria, and we're pleased to bring you the Naughty and Nice Hams via the Volunteer Monitoring Program monthly report for July. Our Naughty Hams, well, I guess they're not really hams, it's actually a company, notices for unlicensed operation on 2-meter amateur frequency. Operator in Trenton, New Jersey, were issued notices for FT8 operation on 20 and 40-meter frequencies outside the license privileges. General class operators in Massapequa, New York, and Trenton, New Jersey, were issued notices for SSB operation on 14.201 and 21.270 megahertz. General class operators have no voice privileges below 14.225 and 21.275. An operator in Indian Hills, California, received a notice for unlicensed operation on 144.390 megahertz simplex APERS during a high-altitude balloon operation. The FCC had canceled his license over a year before the flight. And now for our nice hams. Commendations were issued to amateurs in Poughkeepsie, New York for work conducting the community daily bulletin board on the 146.97 megahertz Mount Beacon. A commendation was issued to an operator in Columbia, South Carolina for facilitating amateur involvement in the Richland County Emergency Operations Center and assisting amateurs in completing CERT programs. The final totals for VM monitoring during June 2022 were 1,676 hours on HF frequencies and 2,099 hours on VHS frequencies and above, for a total of 3,775 hours. Thanks to the VMP administrator, Riley Hollingsworth, Kilo 4 Zulu Delta Hotel. And that wraps up our ham radio news. This is Kilo Golf 5, Kilo Victor Juliet. Back to you, Ernesto.
Hey, Garrett, thank you so much. This was really, really cool. And your audio is really awesome. Now you can hit this repeater. Man, some of those guys are pretty wild. I was it on, and it asked me to enter my call sign, and I freaked out and I turned it off because I'm like, well, maybe I'm breaking the law by doing this. Really dumb, but compared to these guys, man, they don't care. They just pull all kinds of shenanigans out there. But thanks again, man. Thanks again for running the news. This was fun. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Garrett for the news, or any comments on the news? Coming in with your call sign and name.
K5BZI, Ray.
Hey, Ray, go ahead.
Hey, Ernesto, thanks for hosting, and Garrett, man, great news. And I just wanted to comment that, having been involved in net control in the news lately, we've heard an awful lot of reports about the FCC cracking down on guys working out of band and, working on frequencies that they're not allocated for given their license. Operator, but I have noticed that they've been cracking down a lot. So keep your eyes on the VFO guys and make sure you're operating within your allotted band frequencies. Back to net, K5BZI.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, that's a good point, especially if they're cracking down on that, because I remember I'm guilty of doing that. I remember pressing the button on the wrong side of the band a couple of times before. That's thank goodness I didn't get in trouble, but it could happen. And yeah, so just try to keep the chart around you. I have a cheat sheet in front of my radio, and so that I can still look and make sure that I'm within where I need to be. But yep. Thanks again, Garrett, and I'm ready for the comments. It's time now for Fox News, so we're going to pass the mic now to Jeffrey, KI5MBF, for our weekly Fox News. Jeffrey, the mic is yours. KI5MVF from KI5PZN in the net. Jeffrey, you around?
N5TXR.
Go ahead, Tommy.
While we're waiting for Jeffrey, I was trying to listen very hard, but Garrett, I wanted to have Garrett tell us where that voluntary monitoring information came from. Is that a national database that they do every week, or where is that actually coming from?
So on the ARRL website, they have a section for it. I can ping you in Teams, or not in Teams, but in Discord with the URL that I actually pulled those events from KG5KVJ.
Well, is this something that they do normally, and is it like by section, or how are they showing it?
I think they do it based on months, right? So the VMP sits out there and monitors all the bands, and they try to find the violators, and then they have a monthly report that they submit, and the ARRL seems to publish it. KG5KVJ.
Oh yeah, I'll look for your link on there. Thank you, sir. Back to net control.
All right, let me check with Jeffrey to see if Jeffrey is around. KI5MVF. Jeffrey, are you around for the Fox News?
KI5 channel we were discussing in Fox Hunt previously about some people operating out of band. And here I was operating over on 70 centimeter simplex instead of on the repeater. Anyways, Fox Hunt News don't have a whole lot. I'm looking over and making sure that I'm transmitting on the right channel again. Sky N5LX hosted one last weekend. Seems like it was mostly a test. His battery ended up not running for very long. It seems that only Mark N5 UMT found it. Ernesto, looks like you gave it a shot, but couldn't hear it because of the dead battery. Since then, everybody's just been chatting in the channel about battery advice and just some good tech talk over there. And some battery recommendations, some good photos. And so we don't have anybody or just don't know what fox hunting is. You can let me know, KI5MVF, that's Jeffrey. Or I highly recommend you join our Discord channel and head over to the Fox Hunt channel. Any questions you have can definitely be answered there, just about, I think. And we regularly post over there about when we're going to do another hunt, or if somebody's just looking for a partner to hunt with. But this is KI5MVF, and I'll send it back to net.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you so much for that information. And yeah, man, same frequency. Just kidding. All right, it's time to pass the mic now to Rusty, WZ5VVS, our president, with the club and trivia announcement. Rusty, the mic is yours.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it. I was on vacation last week, and I passed the torch over off to Modesto. We were having some problems with TriviaNet, so I don't have any TriviaNet update for you as of last week. We did get an extended play of the bingo. But for those of you who are new and have never joined us before, we have a really fun TriviaNet every Friday at 9 o'clock here on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. All of our frequencies, well, pretty much every frequency that you're hearing me on now is going to be on the trivia. So come play with us. Anybody can play. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. We'll have the bingo starting up at 8:30, so you got something to do while you're hanging out for the net to begin. I will put all the details and a link in the Thursday night Discord channel. And you can check out the player rankings, stats, net logs, any information that you want about the Friday Night TriviaNet. Head over to n5oak.org and click on the TriviaNet tab. I've got Ernesto is coming to play game control. and I'm going to be net control this Friday, so it'll be the two of us running trivia, so I'm looking forward to that. As far as official club news, we got to send a shout out to KV5TX Chris. He got the 320 repeater back online. We're still having a little weird internet problems with audio loss, and we think that's on the All-Star side. So we still have some things to work out, but the 320 is back alive, thank goodness. So thank you, Chris, for making that happen. For those of you who haven't had the chance to play on the DMR repeater is back and fully functioning as well. So the 441-300 is alive. So if you have a DMR radio, here's a great opportunity to go get that dialed in and then see if you can hit that. With y'all on the net, we got Eric, KG5KEY. We have Bill, KI5WNK, and Jared, N5AFC. Jared just checked in earlier, short time, so welcome, Jared. Good to hear you on here. Our next meeting is October 15th, so put that on your calendars. And we got all the Fox Hunt updates from Jeffrey. You can sign up on the Fox Hunt channel to do that. And then for the DMR as well, we have the DMR Soundcheck Net, and it's actually going to be happening every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the DMR machine, the 441-300. It's the Amateur Logic Soundcheck Net, and it's a perfect place to test out all your digital modes. All-Star, Echo Link, Ham Shack Hotline, both flavors of DMR, D-Star, NXDN, P25, Wires X, Yaesu, System Fusion. If you have any digital modes and you want to test them out, you can down net with our very own Miresto, KI5PZN and KI5SYX, 7:30 on Sunday on all your favorite channels as well. And the easiest way to stay up to date is to subscribe to the official club calendar. Head over to n5oak.org and click on the calendar tab to make that happen. You can also add your birthday to the calendar. We'd love to wish you a happy birthday. I've got some QSL cards that I need to get on the website, but I have added some fun photos, so you can go check that out as well. That is about all I have, man. Thanks for running the net, Ernesto, and I will officially check in later down the log. WZ5BBS, back to net control.
Thank you, Rusty. Yeah, I've forgotten about last week mishap with the net. I could not get it out of the parking lot, but this week I'm going to get some good training from so Rusty doesn't know what those questions are, and we could have him playing with everybody else and just going insane trying to answer and screaming at the screen so he can experience what we do on the other side. But thanks again, my friend, for the updates and everything you do. Let me do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, callsign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. I'll be looking for check-ins shortly. No membership is required. Any licensed operator is welcome to check in. New hams are encouraged to check in, so if you're a new ham, we would love to hear from you. I'm going to have a question for tonight's net, and the question is, what is the weirdest superstition you've ever heard? What is the weirdest superstition you've ever heard? Let me let this reset for a second. I recall one when I was a little kid. I grew up out in the country in Puerto Rico, and I remember that there was one. This is more silly than anything. If a snake, I guess, passed by you, or if you were walking and a snake crossed your path, let's say it that way, you have to stop and do like, I think it was 3, man, I'm in trouble if I see a snake now. You have to do 3 steps backwards, and I think after that you have to do the signal of the cross in your chest or whatever, and say something else that I forgot. I need to call my peeps and get get a refreshment on those things, because I can't remember. But yeah, that's one of the few ones that I do remember. But anyways, that's just a question for the night. You don't have to answer it, but it'd be a lot cooler if you did. So please come in with your call sign and name now.
This is Whiskey 5, November Delta Sierra.
This Kilo Alpha 5 Delta, no traffic.
This is Kilo 5 Bravo Zulu India Ray in South Austin.
This is Kilo 5 Mike Whiskey Alpha in Oak Hill. Mike.
This November Echo 5 Papa Mark in Dripping Springs.
This is Kilo India 5 Hotel Kilo Lance in East Austin, no traffic.
This is
AI5 and LK Anderson and Manchac.
This is KI5 MVF Jeffrey in South Austin, coming in the flagship 320.
This is Z5 BBS South Dallas, coming in on the 320.
This is Whiskey 0 Taco Cilantro Onion, Andrew in Southwest Austin.
No traffic.
This is
Kilo
5
India
KBZ
5
Mike in
Uniform
Dripping
Kilo
Springs.
Foxtrot, Dripping Springs, Steve.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Kilo Victor Juliet, Garrett and Buda coming on a 320 very proudly.
This is 5 KBZ Mike in Dripping Springs. Liz here. We're going to get started here, and we are going to go and visit with Rod, W5NDS. Rod, how's life treating you, my friend?
Well, good evening, Ernesto and everybody on the net. Things are going well here. I wanted to advise you, Ernesto, that there was a station at the end of the question period, and it was hard to understand him because his audio was quite low. I believe his call sign was November 5 Alpha Sierra Bravo. So maybe someone could chase him down and welcome him to the net. I've just been using my new antenna put up by Ray a couple of weeks ago, and DX has not been good, so nothing to report there. And I've gotten a TMV71 Alpha that I'm getting ready to put into operation here. I mean, quite a few of you have them. So anyway, that'll be it from me, Ray. Lots of fellows calling in. So 73s to all, and I'll be listening out. W5NDS, back to net control.
All right, Rod. Good deal. Yes, sir. And your audio is awesome as always. Did have a question for you, if you don't mind answering. What is the weirdest superstition you've ever heard, Rod? Back to you.
I forgot to answer that. Well, I had, on my father's side, I had Irish grandparents. And one time I had a wart on my hand. My grandmother told me how to get rid of that wart. You take a potato, cut in 10 pieces, and you bury 9 of those 10 pieces in the ground. I can't remember what she told me to do with the 10th piece, but that's about the weirdest one that I've heard of. W5NDS, back to net.
Rod, I think the repeater dropped you when you were saying that you cut that in 10 pieces. That's the last thing I've heard.
Well, I was coming through on the monitor. In any case, I don't remember. She had a different instruction for the 10th piece of the potato, and I can't remember what it was now, but it was a special, different instruction than burying the 9 pieces. Back to you.
Right on. Yeah, those things I know. They pocket, and that will bring you money, but that's pretty wild. Thank you for participating, Rob. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
Negative, sir. Thank you, and 73s to all. W5NDS, clear.
All right, Rod. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Rod?
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Ray.
Hey, Rod, man, I'm glad to hear the antenna's working good for you, and just want to shout out and plug the Tuesday night Simplex night. For those of you who don't know, we do a Simplex FM 2-meter on Tuesdays, starting at 8 p.m. And Rod is his new antenna location is on top of his 80. On Tuesday, and hopefully we'll catch you next Tuesday. Rod, have a great weekend. K5BZI.
Well, thanks, Ray. And I want to reiterate that we had a wonderful time. We had lots of stations on the Simplex net on Tuesday night on 146.555. And it was just a really gala event. You want to be there if you can. And Ray, I'm looking forward to that antenna on Saturday if you get a chance. The Workman, W5NDS.
Yeah, roger that, man. I plan on dropping it off in the morning. I think it was 13 or 14 stations on Tuesday night. It was quite the turnout. So, yeah, you guys should check us out on Tuesday night, Simplex 146.555. Back to net, K5BZI.
All right, you heard it here. It's 146.555 FM, 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Make sure you try to make it there. It's a fun crowd. All right, and then after Rod, thanks again, Rod, for checking in, and Ray for your comments. We have Kyle with no comment, K5D. Thanks for checking in, Kyle. And we're going to check now with Ray, K5BZI. Ray, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Ernesto, K5BZI in South Austin here. Thanks for hosting tonight, and thanks to all the guys that helped out, Garrett and Mark. Once in a while, it's so good to have the 320 back. Thank you, Chris KV5TX for taking care of that, and hopefully we'll have the bugs worked out with 775 soon. This week, currently I'm working on my old BC348. My switch that switches between AM and sideband is not functioning correctly, so I'm going to take this 80-year-old switch apart and see if I can't figure out why it's not switching. If I can, I'll just put a toggle switch in there and make it work. What else? I think that's about it. I don't remember. Oh, we went to Fredericksburg last weekend and did some grape stomping out there, so I didn't do much radio. But I'm looking forward to the North American contest this weekend on Saturday from noon to midnight. I'm actually going to be home for a contest, which hasn't been the case lately, so I'm excited about that. My wife even has something to keep her occupied while I'm doing it, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to be working the North American sideband contest this weekend on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's all I got this week, Ernesto. 7-3, everyone listening, and I will catch you later. Back to net, K5BZI.
All right, man. It sounds like a fun weekend ahead. Hoping you get a bunch of contacts and you get a really awesome contest going on there. Question for you. What's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard, Ray?
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. So, as you know, my wife is from Mexico City, born and raised, and she moved here back to Austin with me right after we married. And so I can tell you that, for those of you who don't know, the Mexican culture in general are pretty superstitious. So pretty much everything that comes out of my mother-in-law's mouth are some crazy superstitions, and so I can't even nail it down to one because I usually just kind of brush them off and chuckle and move on. So I've been trying to remember one, but gosh, there's so many, Ernesto. She comes up with the craziest things. So I don't know, man. I'm sorry, I can't bring one off the top of my head, but I can tell you that it's definitely a culture thing down south of the border. K5BZI.
Man, I hear you. I have one of those here at the house for the last 20 years, just like you. So yeah, there's an endless list of craziness. It's fun. It's always fun. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Ray? If so, please call in with your call sign and name now.
KC5AJE.
Go ahead.
I had a couple, I guess I had one question and one comment. And so I know, Ray, that you listen to records, and so I was curious if you had a favored record shop in town that you like to frequent. And also, my wife is Mexican as well, and is shared like a superstition about owls in Mexico, and there's being like some relation to like witches. Like if people see owls, like they freak out and get really scared. That one's always been weird to me. But yeah, I was curious about where you acquire records, sir.
Yeah, Roger, man. So being married to a Latina, you understand. It's like she comes up with the craziest things sometimes. Like, I'm making this up, but crazy stuff like, "Hey, you can't boil those peanuts. You just got out of the shower." And I'm like, "But why?" And her answer is always like, "I don't know." Because that's what Mom used to say. It's like, okay, well, what is that based on? Just funny, crazy stuff. Anyway. She's almost lost the habit now. But anyway, as far as records go, I'll answer your distinct question and then give you a little side info. Your absolute question was, what's my favorite record shop in town? And that would have to be End of an Ear on Ben White and Manchac. They've got a clearance bin that's pretty massive, and if you dig through there, you can find for 99 cents or $1 or 50 in just absolute perfect condition, they'll put them in there, and so you can get some pretty good finds that are in great shape for cheap. But you should know that a good friend of mine that I grew up with, I'll name him, his name is Jimmy, a really good friend of mine. He is an Uber driver and in a thrift store shopper, and he's one of those guys that can walk into a Goodwill and find something on the shelf for 10 cents that's worth $100. And he's especially good at music, and he knows my musical taste. And so when he's driving around delivering or doing Uber, and if he gets bored, he'll stop off in thrift stores and Goodwills and the like, wherever he's at, and just filter through their records, and he always finds jewels for me. So he's basically my shopper, so to speak, and he just loves it. So I benefit from his joy of shopping and the fact that he knows my taste. So I'm fortunate in that regard, and I'm sitting. I'll pass it back over to you there, man. K5BZI.
Yeah, Roger. End of Year has been my favorite shop for a while, so yeah, that's a great one. Was just curious. I have been slowly collecting records over the years, and it's been a fun kind of hobby to get into. It can be expensive at times, but appreciate the answer. This is KC5AJE back the net.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking in and for your comments. Thanks again. And we're going to go now and check with Mike, K5MWA. Mike, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Hey, Ernesto. Good job on the net tonight. K5MWA here down in Oak Hill, and haven't gotten to do a lot of radio lately. I've been, taking care of the wife a lot and trying to catch naps in the evening, and a lot of work going on. But I was on a little bit ago. Well, I'm actually watching the stuff go by on the DX heat map, and I caught Mexico City XE1XR on 28.440 on 10 meters. So 10 meters working to Mexico and South America right now. And it looks like some 20 meters, the Navajo Code Talkers are, they have a special event going through tomorrow on several bands, but 14.268 on 20 meters, and they are November 7 Charlie. So that's a great one to catch if you happen to want to catch something, the Navajo Code Talker special event. Outside of that, I'm just glad to have the 320 back online, and been using the UT one, and it's been serving me pretty well, mobile around town, so nothing to complain about. And I want to thank the who that was that got that thing back up and running, man. It's nice to be a mile from the real repeater now. So with that, I'll turn it back over to net control. Go ahead, Ernesto. K5PZN, K5MWA.
All right, yeah, that was Chris, KV5TX, the guy who fixed it for us. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I heard about those, the Navajo Code Talkers. I think I heard them also while I was browsing around frequencies the other night. And 10 meters, yeah, man, the South America, it's pretty, stays pretty busy in 10 meters. Funny, the other day I was not handbanging to get here, but I was pretty shocked and impressed. But yeah, dude, I'm glad that you get to do a little bit of radio here and there. I know you've been busy, and now that I'm sure you're happy that the temperature has gone a little bit down. I'm sure it was a nice break for you today with the rain. But yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments for Mike? If so, please call in now with your call sign and name. All right. Nothing heard. And before I let you go, Mike, if you don't mind, what's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard, man?
Well, I can't think of any right offhand. I don't usually pay attention to them, so I can't dredge anything up right now. But if I come up with something, I'll let you know later.
I know, man. You can't pay too much attention to those things. They'll drive you insane. They're just funny. But thanks again for checking in, man. It's always nice to have you, and I hope to talk to you soon, later this week. Let me do a station ID. It's been a little while. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, callsign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controllers for tonight's net. We're going to check now with Mark and E5P. Mark, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Hey, Ernesto. Yeah, life's going pretty good. No complaints here. Work seems to be slowing down a little bit at the end of the summer, not traveling as much. Obviously give me some time to play with the radios, get my new station set up going, so enjoying that quite a bit. Other than that, nothing really new on the radio side. Got a birthday coming up in September. The wife's kind of asking me what I want. She said, "You need a new radio," and I'm like, "Is she setting me up for something?" I don't know where that came from, but I got to be really careful with that. But other than that, I have to say I'm kind of joining the My Wife is Mexican club here. From a superstition perspective, probably the weirdest one I've heard both from her mother and my wife. They have to touch it or bad luck will come to that, whatever that thing is. They call it the English translation, roughly translated as evil eye, or in Spanish, del ojo. So I always thought that was probably one of my favorites, NE5P.
Yeah, I heard that one before, and I think they'll put some, I think the way they did it was for the babies, to keep them from that shenanigans, they would put them like a little bracelet with a little black, it's like a rabbit foot, I think, or something like that. Something that really, really works. You know how that works. But yeah, dude, I remember that one for sure. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mark? If so, please call in now with your call sign and name. Mark, for helping out today on the net and for checking in. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and also for sharing the superstition story. It's always fun. I know it's silly, but it's fun. All right, and then after Mark, we have Lance, KI5HHK, with no traffic. And after Lance, and thank you, Lance, for checking in, by the way, we have KI5NLK, Anderson. Anderson, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Well, Ernesto, KI5NLK here. Life's treating me great with that repeater up. I can handle my drives to and from work, so it's super cool that Chris got that taken care of, and makes me very, very happy. As far as superstitions go, the one that I was thinking about while I was sitting here is, I remember, and nobody take this as good advice, you should not do this, but I thought it was the coolest thing when I was a kid to light cigarettes with a match. And one time I lit somebody's cigarette, and then I was gonna light another one, and somebody yelled at me and said, "No, don't do it. You're not supposed to light more than 2 cigarettes with one match." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And to this day, I still remember that one. And I thought, what? That doesn't make any sense. But I don't know if everybody knows that one. That's just me that doesn't know it, But anyhow, yeah, radio stuff's going good. Back to you, Ernest.
You're right on. Yeah, no, I have never heard that one, but again, none of them make a lot of sense. You know, it's just craziness. I remember, like, if you do like a toast and you have water in your cup instead of alcohol, that's bad luck too. But again, it's all You hear more people in the afternoons and in the mornings, and now in the net you get more check-ins. The net has been pretty lean lately. So it's thank goodness, and thank Chris for taking care of that. Have you done any you do a lot of HF by any chance?
Well, I was gonna say congrats to Mike there for his 10-meter contact, and while he was talking about that, I was like, man, I just don't do enough HF because the antenna situation I have doesn't really lend itself too well. I'm not gonna cry about my antenna and tower and lack of stuff, because y'all have heard me complain about that for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 decades by now. But I do have a bunch of plans. I'm gonna redo this little office I have, and I'm gonna actually have a spot where I can leave my HF radios hooked up all the time, and so I'm super pumped about it, and I will probably get more HF in when that happens. But I mean, you know me.
We all kinds of flavors, and I like all of them, to be quite honest. I like HF, and I also like talking on the repeaters. But yeah, dude, that's awesome. You're gonna get your own corner there to have your radios and your HF antennas. But yeah, it's been fun at night. 20 meters and 40 meters been a lot of fun. Yeah, dude, I'm glad that you got everything lined up and life is going well. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Anderson? If so, please call in with your call sign and name now.
VBS.
Go ahead, Rusty.
Hey, man, I heard you and George chatting on Slacker Chat yesterday, I believe it was, and I was going to jump in, but we were having the weird packet loss thing, and by the time you stopped quick keying, you were at home, so.
Man, it's gonna be great, and I don't ever quick key. I key up exactly when I need to get the message across. So I don't know what you're talking about. I left like 10 seconds and you never jumped in because you're scared. KF5A.
Oh, you're quick key extraordinaire, man, but we love you anyway. WZ5 VBS, back to net control.
All right, Anderson, thanks again for calling in and checking in. Let me check one more time. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
No, I got nothing left, man. Good net so far. Ernesto, keep it rocking, baby.
All right, man. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon for sure. All right, let's check now with Jeffrey, KI5MVF. Jeff.
Busy with work. Pretty sure this is the first time I've actually been on the radio in almost 2 weeks now. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Glad to hear the 320. I'm looking forward to Slacker Chat and all of those things. And so radio-wise, been going on? Not a lot. Gonna go on? More of the usual stuff. Looking forward to being back on this net, enjoying being back on this net. Looking forward to trivia and maybe some fox hunting soon. And then, I don't remember what else I was going to say. Yeah, just glad to be back here hanging out with you guys. Oh, superstitions. I can't think of any crazy ones that I've heard. I've got a couple that I'm not going to need it. Therefore, if you see me driving around in my van, I guarantee you I have almost every tool that I own in there. Because if I bring it with me, I'm not going to need it.
Oh man, that's self-inflicted, but I know because I got some stuff like that, and trust me, it's not fun that I cannot do anything because it's my brain and I have to take it everywhere I go, unfortunately. Dude, thanks for checking in and for everything you do as well. Does anybody have any questions or comment for Jeffrey, so please call in with your call sign and name now.
AI5BZI.
Go ahead, Ray.
So Jeffrey is my climbing buddy, and I can tell you that is especially true when you're at the top of a 50-foot tower. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, what was that one? You threw something to me last time we were up there. You made a great throw. So it takes a good teammate like that to overcome that. But yeah, whether it's tower climbing or it's work, I can tell you right now, I left work tonight at 7, and I left some of my tools in the work van, and I shouldn't need them tonight. I've never really needed them at home, but the thought was there. If I don't have them, something's gonna happen.
Well, that was a segue into the story that I'm pretty sure I've told you before. For the pleasure of those listening, my dad did a job on top of a communications tower one time, and there was a one-man elevator that went up that tower, right up the center. My dad was before he retired was a refrigeration guy and air conditioning, and there was a little air conditioned room at the top of one of these communication towers down in the Houston area, and it was a 30-minute ride to get to the top of that tower on that little one-man elevator. And while he was up there working on this little refrigeration unit, he dropped the tool, and it went all the way to the ground, and so it was an hour round trip to get that tool back. K5BZI, back to that.
Oh man, that just sounds so painful. That's really, really painful, an hour. I think by the time you're back, you're not even angry anymore, but holy smoke. Oh man, thanks for that comment, Ray. Jeffrey, do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
To Ray, I also have to imagine that, before the days where you could sit there and be on your phone for those 2 30-minute rides, and you just kind of had to sit there and think about what you had done and all the time you're wasting and how you're getting home an hour later that day and all of those things. I'm also very interested in the idea of a refrigerated room being at the top of a communications tower. Might have more questions about that in the future.
I think it was more of a box, really. Keeping in the interest of keeping the feed line as short as possible to whatever piece of equipment was in that box. So, yeah, it was up there at the top.
That makes sense. But yeah, the long journey was definitely.
His head as he was watching that thing fall. Am I gonna find it when I get to the bottom? Well, how deep in the ground will it be? Anyway, back to net. K5BZI.
All right, guys. Thanks again for checking in, Jeffrey and Ray, for the stories. It was pretty funny, actually. I know it's frustrating, but still, nevertheless, funny. Well, let's check now with Rusty, WZ5BBS. Rusty, what's going on, my friend? How is life treating you?
Man, I got no complaints. I was in Florida for a week hanging out. There was no red tide. Nobody got COVID, so we're 100% better than last year, where we all spent way too much time out on the beach, but that's the way I like it. So that's pretty much it. Pretty boring. Glad to be home. Good to have the 320 and hearing all these friendly voices on here. As far as superstitions, I think the craziest one I ever heard was that women that eat goat meat will grow facial hair. I don't know if this is true or not, because I don't eat a lot of goat meat, but I look like Godzilla. But apparently, if you are a female and you eat goat meat, you'll grow some facial hair. So there you have it, man. Thanks for running the net. Back to net control.
Oh man, that's rich. I've never heard that one before. I've never heard that one before. That's a funny one there. Yeah, I'm not gonna comment too much on that one, but yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. Anybody have any questions or comments for Rusty?
Hey, VJ.
Hi, Garrett.
Rusty, you can tell me if I wasn't listening. I'm not sure if you gave us the announcement. So what was the deal with the oak? I must have gone inside for an adult beverage or something, but I've asked in Discord and I haven't gotten much response other than like I broke it. And if you said it, I guess during the announcements, then tell me I broke it. But I'm still curious, like what was broken there? Something had to do with, I guess, some sort of cellular link. KG5, KVJ.
Yeah, I can tell you, but you're going to have to donate $100 to the club for not listening during the net. That's the penalty. No, actually, it was really a little pretty simple from what Chris was saying. Apparently, there was some kind of a power spike or something, and our UPS out the internet while he was there, so he upgraded us to cellular internet with a router so that we can get back in and power cycle and change some things around. So ultimately, the only thing that really changed was the internet. We went from a Wi-Fi connection to Chris's work. We changed that out to cellular, and the repeater itself has just been turned back on. So life was great. We had some interesting problems getting a hold of the guys at NXP. Apparently he worked there and then left over the COVID break and then came back and his email address changed by one letter. So thanks to Ray for figuring that out. His neighbor knew him or pointed us to him. So yeah, once we got a hold of him, it was presto bango, we could get in there. But the bit of a delay was sending emails to a ghost email over at NXP.
All right. BZI.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah, so Rusty said he was as hairy as Godzilla, and I just wanted to double check, make sure Rusty realized that Godzilla is in fact a reptile, and they don't have hair. K5BZI.
It depends on how old the movie you watch. Some of them he looks kind of fuzzy. So I will go with no, I did not know he was hairy and that he was a reptile, even though that makes sense. But nonetheless, who cares? Thanks, though, Ray. WZ5BBS.
Just got to keep the prez in check, man. Just keep it in check, buddy. Back to net, K5BZI.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. And thank you, Rusty, for checking in, and you guys. Trolls for the trivia. Hopefully I won't mess it up, but I'll have you there to try to get it all from the beginning till the end. So, yes, sir, I'll be there bugging you, asking you a gazillion questions. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
I'm just happy that the 320 is back in service, and we'll figure out all this packet stuff. But it rained. The 775, knock on wood, is still good. So I think everything's coming back to normal. So hey, there you have it. That's about all I got, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you for checking in and everything you do for the club. Let's check now. Well, after Rusty, we have Andrew, W0TCO with no traffic. And after Andrew, we have Steve, KI5UKF. Steve, what's going on, man?
I want to ditto everyone on the 320 being back. I guess where I'm in Dripping Springs, pretty much with just a mobile antenna for my VHF, UHF. I found out that the only thing I can hit is the 320, so I've been pretty much silent the last couple of weeks, waiting for that to come back. So really great to have everybody back. Kind of missed everybody. I was kind of in the HF world there for a while, but HF's had some pretty good nights, so that's been pretty good. Been traveling. I was in Dallas for a week and then in Baltimore this last week. I would prefer Baltimore over Dallas, actually, but haven't had much radio time, so not a whole lot going on radio-wise. Good to hear everybody. Looking forward to trivia tomorrow night. Hope everybody's doing well. It's great to hear everybody's voices. 73, KI5UKF.
All right, Steve. Yeah, it's good to hear, and I know the repeater made a huge difference. Yeah, okay. On that traveling around, I know for me it's not fun. I like to stay at home unless I'm going out for vacation. But yeah, have to be traveling around. It's even for vacation, it's a pain in the hiney. At least at my age. Let me ask you something. I didn't ask you the question, Steve. What's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard?
Yeah, Ernesto, I kind of mimicked somebody that earlier that said I really don't pay much attention to that. So I guess I tried to think about that, and I really don't have anything. Just the standard old, cats crossing the road, walking under a ladder kind of stuff. So open an umbrella inside, nothing beyond that. So nothing really sexy. Sorry. KI5UKF.
Hey man, nothing wrong with that. There's just, it's just nonsense to begin with, so you're being away from nonsense. All right. Nothing heard. Do you have anything else for the net, Steve, before I let you go?
No, thank you. KI5UKF.
All right, man. Well, hope to hear you around a little bit more often now that the repeater is back up again. Thanks again for checking in, man, and I'll talk to you soon. Let's go and check now with Garrett, KG5KVJ. Garrett, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Well, it's been pretty good so far. I mean, no complaints. It's Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday. Heading out to East Texas this weekend. Thanks for running the net, Ernesto. You're doing a fantastic job, and thanks Ray for the accolades for doing the news. One of the things that I learned was in the Marine Corps from somebody else was you congratulate in public and condemn in private. Granted, Ray never condemned me for anything. He just gave me some feedback in Discord. So I appreciate that. But other than that, no weird superstitions that I'm aware of. I'm not a superstitious guy. The only thing I don't do is I don't mess with ghosts, man. That's not something I want to play around with. I know they're already dead people, so there's no fun in that. KG5, KVJ, back to net.
All right, Gary, and thanks again for helping out tonight on tonight's net. I know, man, it's just silliness, and it's just fun to play with that stuff, but I know it doesn't mean a thing. Does anybody have any questions or comment for Garrett? If so, please call in with your call sign and name.
N5AFC, Jared for Garrett.
Hey, Jarrett.
Yeah, Garrett, I actually, 10 years ago this month is when I retired. When were you in?
I was in the Marine Corps from 2010 until 2015. I didn't retire. I just realized that being an 0651 data systems technician, that it wasn't a life for me to stay and didn't make any sense. So anyway, KG5, KVJ. What was your MOS when you were in? KG5, KVJ.
Yeah, so I started out as 1345 engineer equipment, but did a whole lot of stuff during my time. I was about 93 until 2012, so yeah, good times, lots of stories, but just wanted to shout out and say Semper Fi, N5 AFC.
Well, yacht, and this is KG5 KVJ back to net control.
All right, well, thanks again, Garrett, for checking in to tonight's net, and Jared for your comments. Thank you as well. And we will talk to you guys soon, hopefully in the next couple of days. There's so many nets going on. Let me do a station ID real quick. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Tonight Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, callsign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you're just joining us to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. I just reached the end of that first round of check-in, regular check-in, so I am going to be looking for additional check-ins. So if you would like to check in into tonight's net, please come in with your name and call sign now.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Juliet, Jason and Vita.
This is F5, KBZ, Mike in Dripping Springs.
This is Kilo Charlie 3, November Alpha Golf, Randy.
This is AI5A Alpha India 5 Hotel Papa, Aaron and Vita with no traffic.
This is W0TCO, Andrew, Southwest Austin.
This is
Whiskey 7 Delta Tango X-ray, Travis, no traffic.
Jared, over on Springdale Road.
All right, we have a pretty decent second what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
This is KB5MPJ. Did you call me, Ernesto?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Okay, pretty good. Yeah, I just heard no audio with the call sign, but yeah, pretty good. Let's see, radio-wise, Tuesday, Ray and I messed around with packet radio a little bit. I'd never done it, and I downloaded sound modem and connected to him on HF, and we tried a little packet radio. So kind of wanted to learn more about like packet BBSs and stuff like that, so I'll probably be messing around with that a little bit soon. And that's pretty much what I've done on the radio here. Back to you.
All right. Any HF, any DX contact by any chance lately?
Yeah, I actually did a lot. Last week I was home quite a bit, and yeah, I made phone contacts. I did some digi, did a little SSTV, I actually had, I'm going to ask you, I tried out my President Lincoln 2, and somebody told me they thought I was off frequency, so I'm going to try to figure out. Ray said he didn't think I sounded off frequency. So, I don't know. I guess sometimes you start wondering if somebody tells you that, so I'm going to maybe do some little experiments here and see if I can determine if that radio is on frequency or not.
Oh, right on, man. It's part of the hobby, just testing and making sure that things work and making things work better, I guess. It's again, but part of what we do. Well, right on, dude. Well, let me ask you tonight's question, which is, what's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard, Jason?
Maybe that. So my dad told me one time that if you give someone a knife as a gift, it ends a friendship. And because I gave him some knife that I had, and he said, "Here is $1," and I'm like, "What's that for?" He's like, "You can't give that to me because it ends a friendship, so I have to buy it from you. So here's $1." So I think that's the strangest superstition that I've heard.
I'm learning a whole bunch of new ones. Not that I needed new ones, but it's fun. It's still fun to hear all the superstitions and all the stuff that people come up with. But yeah, that's a new one to me, man. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Jason? If so, please call in now with your name and call sign.
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jason. I forgot about Tuesday night's packet night. Yeah, we started doing packet radio on HF, and we went till like 1:30 in the morning, and I learned so much. It's actually pretty easy and a lot of fun, and like Jason, we're able to connect to each other and send messages back and forth like a chat room over the air, and that was pretty cool. I had never really connected to anything packet-wise except for KA5D system. And to be able to connect to somebody else radio to radio over HF, I thought was pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to doing a little more packet work with you there, Jason, in the future. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, Ray, I did to connect to KA5D system on HF, but I didn't get very far. I hit question mark because I'd seen that's supposed to bring up the help menu. And then it stopped responding to me. And then later on in the day, I got back on, did the same thing, and it quit responding, so I quit doing it. I was hoping I didn't send some kind, command that put it in some kind of loop or something. So, yeah, I just have to read up on it and learn more about it, because I was just kind of wanting to find out what all people do with it, and, kind of what to expect from packet radio, because I'd always heard about it and never really messed with it, so I kind of wanted to try the packet BBS and see if it was anything like the dial-up BBSs that I used to connect to. Back to net control.
Well, right on, dude. Well, thanks again, Jason, for calling and checking into the net, and Ray always for the comment. Let's go and check now with Mike. Mike, I missed half of your call sign. KBZ. I think what I copy at the end. What's going on, man?
I'm guessing that's me. Kilo Foxtrot 5, Kilo Bravo Zulu. Mike in Dripping Springs. So thanks for doing the net tonight, Ernesto. So great job. And a long-time member. I haven't checked in quite some time just because I've been traveling because of my work and I've been out of town. So just glad to check in and glad to see the flagship is back online. I am checking in though through the Johnson City machine because that's where I'm crossbanding in through. I'm too lazy to change things. But anyway, regarding the superstition question, let me answer that. I learned was that, they related a lot of superstitious events to the aurora borealis, sort of the northern lights, which you see a lot of when you're in those northern latitudes when you're living in Russia and stuff like that. So when there was a lot of activity and stuff like that, and people started acting weird and stuff like that, they always described it to the northern borealis. So it's just this weird trend that I never completely comprehended or understood, but a lot was ascribed to a lot of supernatural events were ascribed to the aurora borealis amongst Russians, and it's something that I think a lot of Westerners don't know and don't realize, but it's very strong and powerful within the Russian community, and it's just interesting, and I haven't completely figured it out. But anyway, back to that KF5KBZ.
All right, Mike. Yeah, I've never heard that one before. It does make sense, I guess, especially if you from before, I guess, people were more, advanced in science. I'm sure people thought all kinds of things when they saw the aurora borealis going down and moving up there. I'm sure they probably thought, all kinds of things. But yeah, I didn't know that one either. Yeah, man, No, you're a long-time member. I'm new. I just I got my license last year. I just have zero shame, and so I start running the nets. But I'll get all these names at some point. So sorry about that. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mike? If so, please call in with your call sign and name now.
W5NDS.
Go ahead, Rod.
Well, I just wonder if Mike actually saw the aurora up in the Soviet Union.
Actually, I did when I was in Russia. I could. I mean, it was on the horizon. Actually, when I was in Canada, I actually saw it more prominently. Back when I was a kid, up in Montreal or what have you, I could see the aurora borealis a little bit. But I've never had it was always over the horizon. I've never had a really good shot of it. But but it's only could see in the distance. So nothing like people see in Alaska or anything like that. But I'd love to actually see it firsthand. But like I said, it was sort of a not the best image of it. It was just a little bit too far over the horizon for me. So back to that KF5KBZ.
Roger, thanks, Mike.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Mike? If so, please call in now with your name and call sign. All right. Nothing heard. Thanks again, Mike, for checking in. Appreciate you calling in and checking into the net. And thanks for your patience with me learning all the things. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
Thanks for doing the net tonight, Ernesto. Great job. So, 73.
Thank you, Mike, and 73 to you as well. All right, let's check now with Randy, KC3NAG. Randy, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Oh, hey there, Ernesto, and everyone in the group. Life's okay. Been taking care of my mom like every single day, some other goofy thing. I'm like, whatever, but anyway, that's my job. Not much of a strange thing, but when I lived on Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, story was you couldn't catch fish with a blue-bottomed boat. I've seen this disproved, but that was the deal. I lurk on 2 meters here, mostly to keep tabs on Ray, but I spend most of my time on HF, like looking around, seeing what I can get and whatnot. Let me let it drop because I got an antenna story. So the other day, I'm outside looking at the sky, what little I can see, because all I have is trees here, which makes it handy for building antennas. And my 60-something foot offset center fed, big antenna is laying on the roof. And I'm like, okay, this is not cool. Well, it turns out Mr. Squirrel, my friend, Mr. Squirrel, had chewed the paracord off. And I'm managed to get a hold of what was left of the paracord, pull the antenna up, and about a foot above the crotch of the tree where this cord goes through, there's Mr. Squirrel's head looking at me like, what are you doing? I held the paracord up that was chewed up, and I'm like, don't do this. He looked back at me like, stay out of my tree. I quickly tied the paracord off, and now I'm nervous. KC3 NAG, back to net.
Well, Randy, I think we should get one of those nano VNAs or antennas, whatever those things are called, and check to see if that squirrel is resonant on 20 meters or 40 meters, so we can just run a cable through it and use it as an antenna. Back to you.
Yeah, well, you better watch out, because there's 100 watts going through it, and the end of the antenna is probably only about 3.
Well, we can try some fried squirrel. I'm sure it's not too bad. It should be pretty close to fried rabbit, which is delicious. So, one of those things, man. I guess it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. What's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard, Randy?
Well, I did mention that right off the bat, but living in southern Maryland on Chesapeake Bay, they said you couldn't catch fish with a blue-bottomed boat. I've seen that kind of disproved. But sometimes it's true, so you never know.
Well, that needs to be tested. I don't have a boat, but I wonder what they say that. Well, again, it's superstition, so it doesn't have to make any sense. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Randy? If so, please call now with your name and call sign.
K5BZI.
Go ahead, Ray.
Gotta say hi to my friend Randy, man. I haven't heard him in a long time. Hey, Randy. Glad to hear you, buddy. And the boat thing, yeah, I don't know about that. Blue bottom boat. Probably not true. But I can tell you that from my experience, this club has, one member or another has tried to tune up just about everything from a mattress spring to their tower to rain gutters, and I don't think anyone's ever tried to tune a squirrel. So if you can catch that sucker, I highly suggest it. We'd like to hear how it goes. K5BZI.
Yeah, okay, Ray. Good to hear you. Yeah, I've been lurking and busy and doing stuff, but I hear you all out there. Yeah, I don't know. It's that or it's going to be fried squirrel. And we used to shoot squirrels when I was young and cook them and taste like chicken.
Yeah, my grandma used to cook them up. My uncles would shoot them out of the trees at their family deer lease, and she'd cook them up. And then as you're eating them, you'd have to spit the bird shot out. But it's been a while for me. But fried probably wouldn't be half bad.
Yeah, well, we shot them with 22s. That's how I was taught. Like, you got one shot, I hit one and kind of hit him in the shoulder or something, which is where, what little meat there is. My dad goes, Aim for the heads.
Yeah, my uncles are lazy. They just shoot them a bird shot. Right on, man. Well, good to hear you back on, and yeah, sorry you couldn't get access.
All right. Ron, do you have anything else for the net before we let you go?
No, that's it, Ernesto. Rock on, man. KC3, NAG.
All right, dude. We appreciate you checking in. Always nice talking to you, and I will hope to hear you more often on the repeaters out now that the 320 is back up. So thanks again, man. Have a good night and weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Let's go now. Well, now after Randy, we have Aaron, and I probably butchered his call sign, K5 or K5HP, no traffic. Now we have W0TCO Andrew. And Andrew, what's going on, man? How is life treating you?
Hey Ernesto, thanks for running the net this week. It's really good back to be on the 320. Life has been a little difficult for me lately. I was just in the land of W9 up in Wisconsin because my grandfather passed away, and then when I got home, my grandmother on the other side of the family was put on hospice, and so I took care of her in her last final days. So it's been a little rough, but I did manage to remember to bring my HT up north, and I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the club here. I think that we've got a really great club, and tried to hit some repeaters up there, and no one was really home. So it's just nice to be somewhere that they've got the repeaters working and people active on it, and just a social bunch of individuals. So shout out to the N5OAK club for always being around. So yeah, things are moving along. In regards to the superstition, I always knew that when you're sitting around a campfire and the smoke blows in your eyes, you close your eyes and you say rabbit, rabbit, and it magically changes direction. So W0TCO back to net.
All right, Andrew, I'm really sorry to hear about the passing of your grandparents. That's really, unfortunately, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm glad that you grab your radio, took your radio with you. It's always a good distraction to have, I guess, the radios and things to mess with when you're doing stuff. This is definitely. There's no one on the repeaters, so it's in other places. So definitely, we do a really good job at keeping the crickets away from the repeater in this town. So it's a good community for sure. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Andrew? If so, please call now with your name and call sign. All right. Nothing heard. Andrew, do you have anything else for the net before we let you go?
Nope, that was it. Thanks again for hosting. W0TCO back to net control.
All right, Andrew. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good rest of the week, and I hope things are, start getting even better sooner. So I will talk to you soon, man. All right, and then after Andrew, I have one more check-in after him, and I missed half of this. I got a W2TD, but I'm sure I'm missing half of his call sign. I apologize with the no traffic. So let me go ahead and do a station ID. It's been a little bit, I think. Let me take care of that. Be right back with the other stuff. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Ernesto, KI5PZN, and I'm your net controller for tonight's net. Anybody would like to check in, please call in now with your call sign and name.
N5TXR.
All right. We got Sammy, N5TXR. Sammy, what's going on, my friend? How's life treating you?
There was a couple things I was going to ask about. I'm still looking for this little mount holder for a Kenwood 480, and it comes in two pieces, and it snaps on the control head, and then the bottom part you can mount somewhere. If anybody knows where I can find one of those, or has one, or I can 3D print one, or whatever, please let me know. Let me let it drop. And Ernesto, as you know, I'm sending my Kenwood up to the Wisconsin radio fixers, and I hope to get it back before I get out to the new place. And for those, I don't know if I put it on Discord or not, but anyway, eventually we're going to end up in Lexington, Texas. And now I got to work on a way to get some sort of repeater connected to the Oak system so I don't completely lose all remembrance. That's about it on this end. The thing that your question, I always wondered, and I thought it was stupid. You see a coin on the ground, and if it's not heads up, you don't pick it up. I don't know if that's worth anything or not. N5TXR, back to net.
You know, I've never heard that one before either, as I picked everything up. I heard some nerds one time running some numbers. Because somebody said one time, and I think I probably read that on Reddit, but they run some numbers because somebody was asking if it was worth it, time-wise, to squat down and pick up a penny from the floor. So this nerd threw out all kinds of formulas and numbers, and the conclusion was that unless you were making at that exact time either $28 or $30 an hour, and you have to stop to pick it up, then it was not worth it. But if you just were walking around, fooling around, then it was worth it to pick it up. But that's what I either heard or read from the nerds on that department on the, well, it was a penny. If it was worth picking up a penny from the floor, but not the face up one. Sammy, back to you.
Well, I got one of the worst cussing outs that my grandfather ever gave me because I didn't bend over and pick up a penny. And I told him, I said, well, it was tails up. I don't touch anything that's tails up. And he didn't agree with that either, but yeah, a dime may be worth it. I don't know. But anyway, that's one of the things on superstitions. One of those things. And squirrel, I don't know. Who said it tastes like chicken? I don't know. I had a lot of squirrel when I was a kid that was shot out of the trees. And I don't know, fried, stewed. It didn't taste like chicken to me. I don't know. It's just my thoughts.
I never had it, but I had rabbit. I haven't had it. If you have rabbit, you may be able to answer that one.
Guinea pigs would be my question. What's up with that?
Well, let me put that into context. This is a while back, I think 07 or something like that. I went to Peru, and for them, that's their equivalent of our fried chicken here. They eat that everywhere. So, being a curious person, of course, I ordered a couple of those things prepared in different ways, and they were delicious. They taste pretty similar to rabbit, in my opinion. But I wonder if the squirrel tastes similar to those guys.
Well, squirrel's a little irony, you know, and there's no white meat on it anywhere. But I haven't had it quite some time, so. And I have had rabbit stew, and it's not bad, but. So, guinea pigs, which one's bigger, the hamster or the guinea pigs? I can't remember, but don't the guinea pigs get like pretty good size?
Yeah, they're pretty fat and meaty. I remember I had one was deep fried with fries, and the other one they was made on a wood-fired oven. And I think I mentioned that in an ad a couple of weeks ago, where I was talking about weird stuff that we've eaten. And they serve it to you, the guinea pig down there. They don't chop off the claws or the head, so it's basically an upside-down rat, and they just stuff like a little jalapeno in the mouth, and there you go. There's your rat. Have it.
Man alive, I don't think I want to. I'd go Peru, but I don't know anymore. All right, man. Well, that's about all I had. I'm going to be trying to set up something that I can get back into the metro area once I get out to Lexington. But I may need some assistance from some of the fellas to get everything done over here, and I sure would like to find that part for that 480.
All right, Sammy. Well, more than happy to help. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Sammy? If so, please call in now with your name and call sign.
KC3 NAG, Randy.
Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, Sammy. Good to hear you on. I heard you the other day while I was working. I was wondering, are you going to get HF antenna up sometime in the future when you get a chance? Back to you, man.
I've always got HF antennas up. You're just the one slacking because you ain't got no 80 or 75, 80 meter wire up yet. But I was going to ask you about it as soon as I heard you calling. But yeah, I got a 40 meter double bazooka and an 80 meter double bazooka, so I can pretty much get anything on those two.
Okay, my question was, are you going to be set up like that with the new trailer in the new location?
Well, the lot that the trailer is presently sitting in is not going to be the lot that I'll end up in. And I'm going out there tomorrow. I'm going to be moving to a wooded lot that's got shade all day, so they think I'm after the shade, but what I'm after is the trees. So, yes, I will have vertical probably for a little while before I can get the two bazookas rehung. And I guess while I got them down, I need to redo them a little bit, clean them up, check them and all that good stuff. But I still miss very much my G5 RV special that company in Missouri made, and I can't find them anymore. I can't remember the name of it. But that's all I got right now, and that's all I have out there.
All right, sounds good, Sammy. Catch you later, man. KC3 NEG. Back to net.
All right, Randy, thank you for your comment. Anybody else have a comment or question for Sammy? If so, please call now with your name and call sign. All right. Well, nothing hurt. Yeah, Sammy, just, let me know if you need help with anything, and, feel free to post the stuff on the Discord, and we'll gather a team and go and help if more people are needed. But yeah, dude, just let me know, man. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go, man?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you that I am going. I didn't go today. I'm going tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get out of here by 3, so I don't know if you'll have your post office run done by then or not. Just letting you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Probably about, around noon or either before or after, but not probably by 1 o'clock for sure I'll be all done with all those things. I'll let you know, man. Back to you.
All right, well, I appreciate the help. Back to net control in 5TXR.
All right, Sammy, thank you so much for checking on tonight's net. It's always a pleasure talking to you. All right, well, Sammy just checked into tonight's net, and you could do that too. All we need is your name and call sign. So if you would like to check in into tonight's net, please call in now with your call sign and name. That last call there, I could not hear you. There was a bunch of static. I don't know if you can crank up the power or move a little bit and try again.
AI5A no traffic.
I think I got a KI5. Anybody else heard the last of the last three of the call? Can you try one more time? I got a KI5, I think it's down there in the noise.
This is AI5HP, Aaron and Buda, with the relay.
Just go ahead with the relay.
Yeah, that was KI5BND, Matthew and Buda, a.k.a. my son, finally trying to get on and check into the net, and he had no traffic.
All right, thank you. I have KI5BNB, Matthew, with no traffic. Thank you for checking in. Anybody else would like to check in, please call in with your name and call sign now.
Yeah, 5 Romeo Bravo Tango Kent in Pflugerville, no traffic.
All right. We got KI5 RBT Kent, thanks for checking in with no traffic. Anybody else would like to check in into the Thursday night net, please call in now with your name and call sign.
November 5, Alpha Fox Charlie.
I got November 5, Alpha Fox Charlie, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jared. First time actually receiving and transmitting on the net, but just want to thank you, Ernesto, for running it. I want to thank Chris for getting that 320 back up, and I've had my tech license for about 2 years, and I'm just starting to actually use it. So, a lot of that has to do with N5OAK being around and having the website and having the Discord, and it helps a lot to have different avenues instead of just the little handheld I've got. So I'll be around and hopefully get more into it as the weeks and months drag on. But thank you all again, and this is N5AFC.
Well, right on, man. Appreciate you calling into the net. I'm glad to hear that you are getting into the ham hobby and doing more often. You might want to hang around before I close the net, because I usually give out a list of the local nets. So there's actually a net going on every day if you want to stay active. I have a question for you, and that is, what is the weirdest superstition you've ever heard?
Oh man, well, back to the Marine Corps days, and this is one that, you know, unless you were one of those guys, you probably never heard. It might be the weirdest one you've heard. Don't eat the charms. You know, those little square, cheesy lifesaver wannabes. They come, or did at some time come, in every single MRE that was given out to, you know, Marine soldiers, everybody in the field. But like Marines, seriously, do not, like, as soon as they see those, they'll just throw them away. And I don't know how far back that goes, but basically, if you are eating your MRE and you decide to pop one of those charms, it's going to rain while you're out in the field, or one of your friends is going to get shot up, or your truck is going to break down. You never know, but just don't.
All right, man. I kind of was losing you there, dropping the repeater towards the end of your transmission there, but we got pretty much everything there. Does anybody have any questions or comment for him? Please call in now with your call sign and name. All right. Nothing heard. Do you have anything else for the net before I let you go?
Negative, just a big fat thank you one more time, and appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night for trivia, and that's N5AFC out.
All right, man. Appreciate you checking into the net. Thanks for calling. And yes, sir, we'll be in touch. We'll be talking pretty soon. We're usually pretty busy. The repeaters there's always traffic. All right. Does anybody else would like to check into the net? Please call in with your name and call sign now.
AG5 UNK.
WPW.
No traffic. Hello, Ernesto.
All right. KG5 UNK, Doug, with no traffic. Hey, man, I hope you're doing well and treating us well. I will talk to you soon. Anybody else would like to check into the net? Please call in now with your name and call sign.
This is AI5OS, Justin, Austin, Texas.
All right. We got Justin, AI5OS. Justin, what's going on, man? How is life treating you?
Oh, not doing too bad. Just kind of up here, been playing around. I've been hanging out now on 40 with a group I normally talk to on 7208. And just kind of got up here and figured I'd come in and see what's going on. And not doing too much. I have my in-fit antenna up, and it's working absolutely fantabulous. And I think I'm going to experiment with a loop here before too long. I've heard a lot of people talking about these Delta loops and making them, and I guess they're relatively easy. So I'm really kind of curious to find out just how easy they are to make and what they do. So, thinking about doing that, and hey, when the fall comes, it'll be time to maybe get the hex beam up in the air. So, everything is going well, and I'm glad to see the Oaks back up, for sure. This AI5A.
Hi, Justin. It's always good to hear. Cool down a little bit. It's been so hot that it doesn't feel like, you want to go out there and do anything. I have a question for you, Justin. What's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard, man?
Having an umbrella opened in the inside will give you 7 years of bad luck.
That's what I've been doing wrong, man. I'm always opening umbrellas on indoors. Oh man, yeah, that's a pretty famous one, I guess. It's the one that one and the don't walk under the stairs and up the steps or something like that. But yeah, man. And any plans for the weekend?
Well, not really a whole lot of anything that I can think of. I got to work Friday and Saturday. Well, actually, so I have a Heathkit's antenna tuner. It's an old 2060 Alpha. I'm going to see if I can get some help to get that thing cleaned up on the inside because the roller inductor doesn't work. And if it rains hard, I may try to see if I can. I've got a friend of mine's pile driver. I may see if I can take a sledgehammer and see if I can put a ground rod in the ground. It may have to be angled, obviously. That's okay. Do that. So we'll see what happens. Of course, that's all weather dependent. But other than that, not a whole lot. Just something to do on Sunday, right?
Getting that rod into the ground because it should get a little bit easier, I guess, to install. So I guess it's a good timing, man. It's a good time to get that stuff installed. Back to you.
Yeah, that's the plan, anyway. Yeah, sorry I haven't been on 2 meters for 440 much. I've been just having fun on HF because of this infed. I've got a PAR infed, and boy, you know, with counterpoise under it, oh man, it works phenomenal. I've been borrowing a friend of mine's Rig Expert, which is a really interesting piece of kit. I've been trying to work with the app called Antscope, just like it sounds, ANTSCOPE, to see if I can get voiceover to tell me what's going on. Somebody come over and, get help with my antenna. I should, at the very least, be able to say, hey, I've done this with my antenna. This is what's going on. This is what the data says. And, get help kind of doing the, actually doing the labor here, as it were. But, no, putting a 65 and something in a 17-foot counterpoise and such really makes this infed work quite well. I am very impressed.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and antennas are working out, and, don't never hesitate. If you need help, either let me know or feel free to post something on Discord, and we'll get a couple of guys up there and help you out. I'm new, so I don't know a whole lot of anything, and I'm basically going through that book, the AARL antenna manual or whatever it's called, and just try to learn all of that theory and on everything that happens with the antenna from A to Z, but that's a long process for me because I'm doing it really slowly because I want to learn this properly. But if I can help with anything that doesn't require a whole lot of technical knowledge, I'm more than happy to help. Or I could ask people to come in and help as well. So just let me know, man. You got my email as well. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Justin? If so, please call in with your name and call sign now. All right. Nothing.
Yoke back up in here. Good to hear y'all back up and running, so I'll say 73 east, everybody. And glad to see this is back up and running, so we'll catch you later. This is AI5OS.
All right, Justin, it's always great to hear from you. Thanks again for checking into the net. And let's do another check to see if people want to check into the net. So if you would like to check into the net, please call in with your name and call sign now. All right. I didn't hear anything else. It looks like it's time to wrap up the net. Pretty decent, 10:11. But before I close the net, let me read you a list of the local net so you can stay radioactive throughout the week. We started with Mondays, and on Mondays we have the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Monday, hosted by Rick, AI5A. That's on the 50.125 megahertz frequency, that's upper sideband, at 8 p.m. on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we're talking about this one earlier, the Oak Hill Southside Simplex, hosted by Ray, K5BZI. That's on the 146.555 megahertz. That's 146.555 megahertz frequency, FM, at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. also on Tuesdays, the DMR Sound Check Net, hosted by George, W5JDX, and Tommy, N5ZNO. That's on the 441.300 megahertz repeater. That's the DMR machine at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Net. That's hosted by Matthew, KN4LRA. That's on the Universally Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system at 8 p.m. At 7:30 p.m. on Thursday night, we have the Oak Hill CW Net, hosted by Pat, W5WTH. That's on the 3. At 8 p.m., we have the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system, again at 8 p.m. on Thursdays. On Fridays, Friday night, the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 9 p.m. on Fridays. On Saturday, the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net, that's hosted by Jeff, N5MNW, and that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m., 146.940. At 9 p.m. on Saturdays, the 220 megahertz Guys Original Preservation Net, hosted by Steve, KB9DSQ. That's on the 224.100 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. On Sundays, we start with the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter net, hosted by Rod, W5NDS. That's on the 28.410 megahertz frequency upper sideband at 3 p.m., 28.410 megahertz upper sideband. At 7 p.m., the Travis County Area's weekly net, that's on the 147.360 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. At 7:30 p.m., the weekend wind down net, hosted by me, Ernesto, KI5PZN, and Mireya, KI5SYX. That's on the University Link. The Austin Amateur Radio Club Swap Net, hosted by Jeff, N5NNW, and that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. And that's the list of the local nets that we have access to our local repeaters and simplex frequencies. There's something going on every night, so stay in touch, man. Just stay active, people. Let me do one last call for check-ins, because you never know. Anybody wants to do a last-minute check-in, please call in with your call sign and name. All right. Nothing hurt, so thank you for joining us for the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, a service of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. We're a non-profit based in Austin, Texas. For more information, visit n5oak.org, where you can read about the club, sign up for our email list, or donate to support the continued growth of amateur radio. You may also consider joining our Discord group, where we stay in touch when we're not on radio. We would also like to thank Kyle, KA5D, for linking the University Link repeater system for this net. I'm Ernesto, KI5PZN, and from my QTH here in East Austin, Texas, 73, and thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. The system is now returned to regular amateur use. Good night, y'all.
Great net, Ernesto. Thank you. K5BZI.
Hey, man, it was fun. We got 30 check-in, counting me, with 2 OGs. We got Sammy and Mike there, so that's pretty cool.
KI5WPW here. Try an echo link, seeing if it works.
This is KB5MPJ. I can hear you.
Awesome. I was getting y'all's net over the HD I've got sitting in the window here just south of Lake Ranger, but that HD didn't quite have enough to check in or anything.
No problem. What's your call sign again? I'm sorry.
It is KI5WPW. That is Kilo India 5 Whiskey Papa Whiskey.
And what's your name?
My name is James. I'm brand new to ham radio. I haven't even had my license a week yet.
Right on. Did you say Jim?
Yes, sir. Jim, James, either way.
Well, right on, and welcome to the ham radio, man. You said you've been a ham for about a week. You said?
Almost a week. I took the test exactly a week ago, last Thursday, and I think I got my license in on, or no, it was last Friday. I got my license in Saturday morning.
Oh, that's outstanding, man. Congratulations. And I'm going to add you to the log for tonight's net. And since you are new, I'm not going to let you go without asking you the question.
I'm not sure that I know any good superstitions. I just know, I guess, the regular ones, like not to walk under a ladder, and I think maybe the weirdest one I know is somebody hands you a knife that's open, don't hold it back folded.
Right on, man. Yeah, it was fun, and I don't know if you were listening to the entire net, but there was some funky ones and stuff that I've never heard before. So it was fun to hear people's version of their their weirdest superstitions. Were you able to listen to the entire net?
It was really cool hearing all the different superstitions. I wasn't on for the entire net. If I want to say, I probably tuned into y'all maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, but according to Repeater Book, I think I'm 32 miles out from y'all's repeaters. So
you should go to n5oak.org and then scroll down and find the Discord button if you haven't, and you can join our Discord server, and there's a bunch of channels there, and you can ask questions, and there's tons of people out there that know the hobby really well from A to Z. I'm not one of them. I'm like I was mentioning earlier, I'm pretty new. I just have zero shame, so I just talk here, and I don't care. But but it's a good place to go. And if you heard me reading the list of nets, there's always something going on this area repeater wise. So, and there's some other nets that I can't reach from here, so I don't add them to that net. But there's one on Monday night. I think it's at 8 p.m. on Williamson County. It's from the Williamson County what do you call it? Radio Club, and I think it's called the New Hams Net on Monday night. And I forgot the repeater. I think it's a 680-146-680. But you can look it up on the Williamson County Amateur Radio Club. And I'm sure they have a website, but it's another one to check into if you want to, man. It's a really cool hobby. What got you into? Just curious.
Yeah, I think I have the tailored details for for the Williamson County net details, but as far as what got me into the hobby, I think it was kind of a mix. I got into GMRS radio a little bit and just barely started playing around with that and realized I just wanted to do more with radio. And I've got a good friend of mine that's been a ham for over 10 years, and he kind of talked me into going for the test and getting my license.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, I was in CB before and didn't get my license in the past because well, the code is funny because now I'm practicing and doing okay, I guess. But yeah, the code, the CW was the thing, the Morse code that kept me from becoming a ham. And then once they took that down and I found out, then I went for it. But yeah, this is my thing, talking, obviously. Obviously, this is what I like to do. But man, I'm glad that you got your license. That's pretty cool, man. We do have also, it's not with the Oak, but the Austin Amateur Radio Club have their breakfast meetings, I guess, or meet up on Saturday mornings, and that's at 8 in the morning on Waterloo, and that's on Burnett Road, close to 183. And there's a bunch of folks that get together in the morning there on Saturday mornings, and it's a good get together. You learn a lot. I mean, those guys been doing that for a long time, and like I always say, it's like going to ham school every Saturday morning when I go there. Plus, they're fun. It's a good thing to do. And I don't know if you heard about the Oak. This club is pretty also busy with the active, I should say, with fox hunting. I don't know if you look into that, but that's also a fun thing to do, and we do it almost every weekend. There's a fox hunt going on, so there's plenty of stuff to do with the ham community in this area. It's a very, very busy community in this area, so man, you're up for a bunch of fun, man, for sure. Back to you.
That sounds awesome. I do appreciate all the information. I don't know if I'll be able to make it out there this weekend or too much time soon for meetup or anything like that, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting more active in the ham community and trying all this stuff out and figuring out where my main interests lie.
That's one of the things. There's so many things that you could do with ham radio that I haven't been a ham operator for too long, just barely over a year, and I'm still discovering so many things. It's kind of overwhelming, so I'm sticking with just talking for now and finding foxes. That's about it for now. That's what I've been doing, just chatting. And HF, I like talking on HF, but pretty much the same as here. It's just talking. So it's a great thing to do, man. It's a good hobby. So, man, if you have any questions, don't forget the M5OAK website. You can go there and join the Discord server. And feel free to shoot me an email also if you get lost with anything. Again, I don't know a whole lot, but I can point you into the right person, the right direction. And my email is my call sign. That's KI5. That's Kilo India 5 Papa Zulu November. Kilo India 5 Papa Zulu November @gmail.com. And more than happy to either answer your question or find somebody that would be able to answer your question. So we're here to help and have fun. So, man, welcome to the club again. And I'm probably going to be turning this thing off pretty soon, but it was really nice talking to you, and I add you to the net, so hopefully we will hear from you again on one of the next coming nets or in the repeaters, man. We're always around. Just don't hesitate to call out. There's usually somebody around.
Cool. I really appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to maybe getting into one of y'all's nets again on the future on a real radio instead of doing it over the Echo Link, even though that's Echo Link's pretty cool. But yeah, it was a pleasure talking to y'all and listening to y'all. KI5 Whiskey Papa Whiskey 73.
All right, man. Yeah, it's good to hear from you. I do use Echo Link a lot too, so there's nothing wrong. It's still ham radio. So yeah, man, we'll look for you soon, and it was great talking to you. 73 to you, and this is KI5PZN, and I guess I'll be clear for the night. Good night.
Hey Ray, you don't have to respond to me, but KI5 and LK. Best thing about the simulator deal is the bush trips. They're these cool trips where you fly like through Alaska and stuff. You ain't gotta respond to me. I don't want you zapping yourself over there. You look like you're knee deep in it.
So, that Tuesday night that we first started talking about flight sim, I said, you got to try out the bush trips. They're super.
Picking is just, this is the most fun part of the thing I've seen so far, is monkeying with the, just like cruising around, checking out the scene.
Yeah, and the really cool thing about it is, if you actually do the challenge, it's pretty neat because you can, navigate with VORs and landmarks and stuff. I love doing the bush trips.
Will it work on Windows 10?
Will Microsoft Flight Sim work on Windows 10? Heck yeah, it will.
Nice. Can I just get it from the Microsoft Store?
Yeah, the only thing to watch out for is if you have enough graphics card power to really make it playable. If you have to turn the graphics down, it's almost like, what's the point?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's easy enough.